Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode. So since our fantastic opening day win at home to Crawley, we've gone on a pretty decent run in the opening month of the Vanarama National League. But having lost John Paul Pittman to injury in that opening game hosting Crawley, we also managed to lose Rowan Leiber to injury throughout August. So both of our main attackers have been sidelined through injury, so we've had to draft in Matthew Fletcher to play up top in the last few games. So as I said, we've had a good few performances throughout our opening games in August. So let's have a look at the highlights of those games now. had a couple of tight games in the opening month, especially hosting favourites for the title Eastleigh at home, where we did fantastically to secure a 1-1 draw. Now overall, the games throughout August have been quite tight, and I think we've missed our starting strikers, especially for the latter few games. On the back of the Crawley victory, we travelled to Bromley. This ended up being quite a tight game, but it could have been a more convincing win, with Nico Hamalainen missing 2 penalties in this fixture. On the statistics, it was pretty even between two teams. Our possession was a lot higher, and we created a few good chances for ourselves here, and it was Rowan Liebert getting player of the match there with a goal and an assist. And similarly to last season, we looked quite fragile from the set piece, and that is just how Bromley managed to score their goal. Now, the draw against Eastleigh was a fantastic result for us, I think. Eastleigh are strong favourites, and throughout large periods of that game, their quality of some of their players really showed. It was a close game that we edged on the statistics, and there was a lot of last-ditch tackles coming from our defenders in this game to keep Eastleigh at bay. Not too many clear-cut chances for either team in this fixture, and I think a draw was a good result for us here. And we continued our solid performance from the Eastleigh game going into the away tie at Lincoln. And it was a man-of-the-match performance from Rowan Liebert in this fixture, where he scored 2 goals before unfortunately getting injured. And in particular, his opening goal was an absolute beauty. So this was a really good result for us, I think, because Lincoln looked exceptionally dangerous going forward, and our defenders at times were overrun, and realistically Lincoln should have scored more goals here. And then came another tight away trip, this time at Wrexham, where we had to play a more of an attacking approach throughout a large period of the second half to chase down the draw, and I think in the end we were unlucky not to win. It was a good result having come back from 2-1 down. I think we missed our starting strikers in particular in this game. It was a game where we had a couple of poor performances from our more attacking players, especially out on the wing. And finally came an interesting result against Halifax. This time we won 2-1 at home, another own goal contributing to our victory. Again, we had to play on an attacking approach for large periods of the game to secure the win. And again, our attackers looked pretty ineffectual here. But also, our defence looked pretty fragile against their main attacker, Eddie Desan, who, interestingly, I turned down over the summer as our scout system didn't rate him as highly as, for example, John Paul Pittman and Rowan Liebert, who we did eventually bring in. But Eddie Desan, he caused havoc in our defence all game, and he's now scored 6 in the opening 6 fixtures. But I think this was a good vital win for us, and we need to secure results like this if we're going to have a successful season. So overall, we've come out on top of some tight games in August. We've missed our starting strikers, and although we've been edged out on some of the other statistics, overall we've been keeping possession well, and I think that has contributed to our relatively successful start. So undefeated so far, 4 wins and 2 draws. And just have a look at a couple of statistics from the teams in the opening month, and as you can see, our possession philosophy has led to the Moors having similar success in both passes completed as well as best average overall possession. Things that haven't gone so well is our reasonably poor tackles made percentage, only 69% there. We're quite low down compared to some of the other teams around us, as well as having given away a number of fouls as well. I think overall we've looked quite vulnerable against some of the better teams at the back, and we've had to play a more of an attacking philosophy to really get a result out of those fixtures. So on the back of the opening month, we're sitting in 3rd place. We're there or thereabouts with some of the other favourites for the title. Our form's been okay, and we need to continue and maintain good results like that against the bigger teams if we're going to have a good year. So just having a look at some of the player statistics. Average rating, highest average rating for John Paul Pittman, but only 1 start and 1 substitute appearance for him. 7.7 for Rowan Liebert, who's got 3 goals in 4 appearances, 1 of those from the bench, as well as players like Jack Byrne and our midfielder Ollie Lee have started well this season. So far, 4 goals for Kieran Bywater, 3 for Rowan Liebert, and 2 for John Paul Pittman. Assists coming from our left back Jamal Fifield as well as Kieran Bywater this year. 2 player of the match awards for Rowan Liebert and Jack Byrne apiece, and some good passing percentage so far. Jumpall Pittman, as we said, is only the one appearance and one as a substitute, but Jack Haddon, 90% pass completion rate, and that's following 4 appearances. So overall, some encouraging player statistics so far. So another interesting piece of news that popped up in our newsfeed is the appointment of Zinedine Zidane as the Everton caretaker boss. I didn't notice that he'd moved over to Everton during last season, but he has been the assistant manager at Everton since last year, and he's contributed to a decent couple of opening results for Everton in this campaign. So today we start September with a home fixture against Aldershot. Aldershot are a team that we should be beating. They're currently bottom of the table without a win so far this year. So we're firm favourites for this tie. These are the fixtures that we have to be dominating if we're really going to make a name for ourselves in this league. So we've lost Nico Hamalainen to injury. I think he injured himself in a Finland under-21s fixture. So we're going to have to play Matthew Fletcher out onto the left wing. Fortunately, we now have Jumpall Pittman available to start the game. So he's going to be on, and he's going to be playing our advanced forward role today. Bring on Eric Odiambo onto the bench, and Tsvetan Filipov. He has been upset that he's not been starting games. I think a game like today is going to be perfect for him, a more of an advanced playmaker role. So he's going to be coming in, and he's going to replace Anthony Barry. We're also going to be playing 3 across the middle. We're playing Ollie Lee and Jack Byrne alongside him in the centre of the park. Ollie Lee as a deep line playmaker. So the front 3 then will be Fletcher on the left, Kieran Bywater playing inside forward role from the right, Jumpall Pittman, lone striker up top, and our usual defensive unit to start the game of Fifield, Keenan Kwanzaa, Scott Tancock, Ben Glasgow, and our ever-present goalkeeper Luke Simpson. So off the bench, we've got Conor O'Grady can come on as centre-back, 3 midfielders there, Charlie Cooper, Anthony Barry and Jack Haddon, and Eric Odiambo, who can play on the wings. Going to be playing on the control today. I'm hoping we can dominate the centre of the park. So we're favourites for the win today against a team who are bottom of the table. I still think we're a bit of an unknown team in respect to where we compare to some of the other teams in the division. Season preview, we were ranked quite a low team, but I think the additions we've made haven't been taken into account. So I think we're a better team than, say, the pundits are saying. Having said that, there is quite a lot of competition and there are very strong teams in this division. And I think at times we're still a little bit too frail at the back. So that's something that we need to keep on top of and to monitor. Aldershot, they're playing 4-4-2. Danny Glover, yeah, he's a name I recognise from playing a lower league save on a previous Football Manager. He had a fantastic outing for my FM save back then. So we're playing 4-3-3 today. We're moving our defensive midfielder slightly further forward just to get a bit more control across the middle of the park. Keep tight on their wingers. Close them down as well. Give them a bit of encouragement today as well. Just going to make sure our midfielders are picking up a couple of their central midfielders. So it's 3rd versus 24th here, and it's the Moors to start the game for us. Hoping for a good convincing win against Aldershot today. Bywater on the right wing, he finds it into Byrne, who plays the first time ball to Glasgow. He keeps it in, good cross, and the keeper picks it out of the air. Good stop from him. Decent opportunity at the start of the game there for us. No real shots for either team though in the opening moments. We're edging possession with we were at 87 pass completion rate. Quite a quiet opening few moments in this fixture though. No real highlights to speak of so far. And is that half time? Very quiet opening half. We need to start creating a bit more if we're going to come out on top here. I'm expecting a good result for us here. I'm going to try and motivate them. I'm not happy with the way that we've been playing. I don't want to change this too much. I don't want to play too much of a direct style. I think we're much better when we're working the ball patiently into the box. But it's poor outing from Matthew Fletcher so far, so we've got Odiambo on the bench should we need him. So Aldershot to start the second half here. It's 0-0. against the Moors. They've only had the one shot so far. We've had 7, but we haven't created anything as enough of opportunities for ourselves as we should have been. But it's Filipov who finds it into Bywater. Works across the middle of the park to Ollie Lee, who's advancing now. And he takes the man on. He fires it forward to John-Paul Pittman at the edge of the area. No real support for him, but it's coming now. It's Filipov! Tsvetan Filipov with his first goal for the Moors. Fantastic effort there. I think he took it in his stride here. I'll pick that out. Filipov, what an effort. He asked for the start and he's returned a goal for us. I'm going to make a change at this stage. It's just the one goal for us, but we haven't really been creating as much as we should have, and I think Matthew Fletcher, I think that's his game over. Odiambo's coming on, so obviously we have to swap Odiambo out on the right. He's going to be on the winger role. Kieran Bywater, I'm going to put us inside forward on attack. Pittman's had a decent run, but no real contribution that we've seen so far. I'm going to bring on Charlie Cooper as well. He's returning from injury, so he needs a bit of game time. He's coming on for Jack Byrne, who hasn't played fantastically so far. So going into the last 20-25 minutes or so, it's been comfortable for us so far, but realistically, we should have created more goals for ourselves here. Very quiet game, no real highlights to show, which is really unfortunate. I'm going to make a last substitution now, last few moments. It's Ollie Lee who looks tired in the middle of the park, so going to give Anthony Barry a run out for the last few moments. He's coming on as a central midfielder and we'll stick him on defend. And that should be it. It's a throw into the Moors, but this should be the last highlight. Ben Glasgow, he whips the ball in, across to Fifield and the shot's blocked. And that should be that. It's Aldershot making their way forward, and yep, there's the full-time whistle. So a comfortable win in the end, but quite a quiet game really. Just the one goal for Tsvetan Filipov, a fantastic goal to find the top corner. The assist there from John-Paul Pittman, so it was Filipov with the man of the match performance with a 9 rating. He covered 14.1k today. Ben Glasgow marauding up the right wing covered 14.4, and he had a decent outing as well. So 8 key passes for Filipov today, 63% possession, no shots on target for Aldershot. So we kept them at bay. I just think realistically we should have done a lot better going forward there. So that's put us up into 2nd place. It's Bristol Rovers coming out on top against a good team at Eastleigh. So Bristol Rovers have joined us at the top of the table on 17 points. And Tranmere have drawn with Bromley, so that's only the 2nd goal they've conceded all season. So it was a good outing for us today. We were very comfortable in that game, no real threat from Aldershot, but conversely, we didn't show our abilities going forward though. So thanks for watching, quite a quiet game, not many highlights to show today. And when we come back in the next episode, it'll be our away trip to Brighton, and that'll be the fixture against Whitehawk at the end of September. Between now and then, we've got a couple of interesting fixtures, especially the away trip to Braintree. That's probably going to be the toughest of the bunch. But until next time, thanks for watching. Cheers.